There are instances where you may sell a product as it is, or process it further, such as an upgrade, before you market it. This is what this lecture is all about. Hi guys, welcome back. Today we will be having seller process further. Seller process further is a decision of whether to sell a product immediately or process it further to earn more revenue. It is to be noted, however, that when you process further, it will take additional costs. So, is it worth it to process further? Let us do incremental analysis just as what we do in other types of decisions. Let us refer to the following template to guide our analysis. If we are going to sell a product immediately, there would be no change. No change in revenue and no change in costs. But when we process further, the revenue will increase, considering that it will add value to the product. However, cost will also increase. This would result to a change in profit, hopefully an increase in profit. Now, what are the assumptions that we are going to make if the case is silent? If the case is silent, well, all variable costs related to processing further would be presumed to be the incremental costs. Let us refer to the following sample case to demonstrate how we're going to do this. MMD Incorporated has an incomplete unit of production which costs 200 pesos. Of this amount, 150 pesos is variable and the remaining 50 pesos is a fixed allocation. The incomplete unit can be sold for 250 pesos immediately. Alternatively, if the unit is processed further using an unutilized capacity, the variable cost will increase by 80%. Upon completion, this can be sold for 400 pesos. Should MMD Incorporated sell the unit immediately or process it further first? So let us do our analysis. If we sell the unit immediately, there would be no changes in our revenue and costs. But further processing will increase the sales revenue. From 250, it becomes 400, making it an incremental revenue of 150 pesos. What about the incremental costs? It might be tempting to think that the 150 pesos variable cost would be incremental. However, at this point, it is already a sunk cost. Why? It was already incurred. So, instead of considering the 150 pesos variable cost, what we're going to look at will be the incremental cost as a result of doing this processing further. Accordingly, it will increase by 80%. 80% of 150, that would be 120 pesos. We would have an incremental profit of 30 pesos. As a result, since there is a positive increase in our profit, it would be advisable to process further, at least financially speaking. This is how we do the seller process further analysis. Now, seller process further can be a bit tricky when it comes to joint processes. What is a joint process? A joint process is a process which results to the production of more than one product. So to visually depict a joint process, imagine it this way. We have a process that would result to more than a single product. We call the point where the products become identifiable the split off point. Beyond the split off point, we can identify one product from the other. So if, let's say, for simplicity, there are two products, we would have joint product 1 and joint product 2. This is what we call a joint process. Again, a joint process is a process that would result to more than a single product. In this case, we have two, joint product 1, joint product 2. At the split off point, joint products 1 and 2 can be identified from each other. Now, during the joint process, we are going to incur what we call a joint cost. This is before the split off point. A joint cost is a cost incurred prior to the split off point of a joint process. Now, in sell or process further types of decisions, the decision of whether to sell or process further would happen when the products are already identifiable from one another. As a result, this decision is presumed to be made at the split-off point, where we can identify JP1 and JP2. Hence, joint costs, considering at this point it is already incurred in the past, will now be considered as a sunk cost. So when it comes to a sell or process further type of decision, joint costs will be irrelevant for the reason that it is incurred in the past, a sunk cost when we are already at the split off point, and the fact that it is not going to be differential between the two alternatives. Whether you sell the products as split off or process them further, the joint cost is already incurred. Remember, joint cost is always irrelevant in a sell or process further decision. Let us use the following case as a demonstration. JKL Corporation undergoes a joint process where it requires to incur a total of 90,000 pesos until it reaches the split-off point. This would result to the creation of 10,000 units of K and 20,000 units of L. The following information pertains to both products. So we have the sales price at split off. For K, that's 5 pesos. For L, 8 pesos. The cost to process further, a total of 70,000 pesos for K, 150,000 pesos for L. The sales price after processing further would be 14 pesos for K, 15 pesos for L. Should JKL immediately sell or process further K? If K will be sold immediately, there would be no change in profit. Processing further K will increase the price from 5 to 14, and there are 10,000 units, so revenues will go up by 90,000 pesos. In order to process further, cost should increase by 70,000 pesos. This would result to an incremental profit of 20,000 pesos. Financially speaking, it would be advisable to process further K. Should JKL immediately sell or process further L? Again, if JKL will sell L immediately, no change in profit. Processing further will raise the price from 8 pesos to 15 pesos. Since there are 20,000 units of production, that would be a total increase of 140,000 pesos. Incremental costs, we require 150,000 pesos to process further L. As such, profit will decrease by 10,000 pesos. Financially speaking this time, it would be advisable to sell L immediately rather than processing further. As you have noted, joint cost was never considered when it comes to sell or process further decisions. Whether you allocate the joint cost to the joint products, it doesn't matter. it is irrelevant when it comes to the decision to sell or process further. In the next video, we are going to talk about divisions and product lines that we consider dropping due to profitability issues. Should we keep a division or continuously sell a product line? Or should we discontinue and halt the production? We call them keep or drop decisions. That would be it for today. Like, share, and subscribe.